We are live. It's a Wednesday night. Yes, I'm the one saying we are live, and Mr. Valenti
Mhm.
is on the panel. Uh, Wednesday night, another edition of the K&K Sports Show. A couple faces missing. First, Mr. Siciliano will be back with us next week. Everything's okay. We're just having a little internet problems here. Slow internet means only one of us can come on. Two devices makes the internet go slow. And Carson's going to be with us in a little later. He's running a little late. But the rest of us are here. Hope everyone had a good week. We're about to start our show tonight. And I'm going to ask Mr. Rosen to give us his opening statement. How you doing, Mr. Rosen?
Good. Good evening, gentlemen. I'm doing well. Looking forward to a great action-packed show tonight.
And Mr. Scoops, you're on the panel here tonight as well, as always. Good to see you.
Good to see y'all too. I had a fantastic week. Excuse me. Um, it's my first day back in Rochester in about 5 days. But as you can tell, I was at Seaside, which is why my face looks like a lobster right now. But it's good to see everybody, and I'm looking forward to getting into some topics tonight. Not looking forward necessarily to talking about the Yankees, but it should be a good show.
Speaking of lobster, one of Kurt's favorite dishes. Can barely
Yeah,
see you there, Kurt. You got the shadow coming from the sun, I guess, behind you or
yeah.
whatever.
What I forgot to do was put the light up tonight, and then I realized. But by the end of the show, it should be looking a little better. It's a little of the shadow, but I want to thank Scoops and Mr. Rosen and Brittany and Luby for coming by on Sunday. It was great meeting them in person, hanging out with them. Got to thank Jenny Hoop. She did a tremendous job of cooking for everybody. And it was great just spending time with both of you guys. But we got a huge agenda, man. I know on this agenda we got overrated quarterback, second half prediction. So I think I'm going to be fired up tonight. Kenny and Paul, you guys did this agenda. And I think you guys got me fired up with some of these topics. So I'm ready to roll.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we got a fun little show planned for everyone, and I'm gonna let Paul. We got an audience question as well. We'll read this one throughout the show, and we'll discuss it later on at the end of the show. But Paul's got a nice little audience question for the audience tonight, and I'll let Paul explain what it is.
All right.
And
So, thanks, Kenny. So, our question is a football question since we are into training camp already. Besides Aaron Rodgers, who we all expect him to be successful with the Jets this year, which other quarterback will be the most successful with their new team? Would it be someone like Derek Carr with the Saints, Jimmy G with the Raiders, even Gardner Minshew with the Colts? So if you want to drop us a line, let us know, make a comment, give us your uh, prediction as to who might be, besides Aaron Rodgers, a success with their new team this year.
perfect. Thanks, Paul. Uh,
You're welcome.
that being said, fellas, why don't we move to our first topic of discussion tonight? And it's Major League Baseball. The trade deadline passed, came and gone, and some big names went. Some big teams made some moves, some others didn't. So we're going to get into some winners and losers of the trade deadline. Uh, Starting with myself, I'll explain how we're going to do this. I'm going to do one winner and one loser. So we'll start with winners. And in my opinion, there were a bunch, fellas. I'm not going to name them all because I'm going to allow you all to name one. But if we don't name one, I'll just read them at the end of the segment. Uh, Big winner I had, fellas, going into this deadline. I think they improved themselves, and you know, I don't think any of you would have said this team first, so I'm going to name them, and that's the Baltimore Orioles. They made one move, and it was a move that I think they needed to make. I've been saying it for weeks. This team, all they needed was a veteran pitcher on their pitching staff. And that pitcher was John Flaherty. I think he's going to do good things over there in Baltimore, and I think this team is ready to make the next leap into the postseason. So that's going to be my first winner. The first round, I'll go how I see it on screen. So, Paul, you're up next with your first winner.
Okay. Needless to say, it was an amazing trade deadline. And my winner, for a couple of reasons, are the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. They picked up two pretty good pitchers, Lucas Giolito and Ronaldo Lopez. Randall Grichuk is a very good hitter, and C.J. Cron is a very good hitter. And they also picked up a relief pitcher from the Mets. Then again, everybody got somebody from the Mets, Dominic Leone. But the biggest addition, they also kept Mr. Otani for the next 2 months. So I think that puts him in a pretty good position in a now even more difficult American League West.
Absolutely. So,
Guys, couple of comments from our good friend Eddie Murphy. Hello, gentlemen. If I drank, I'd have a drinking problem as well watching this Yankee team. Not to joke about it. Hope it gets better. Giolito got rocked for 9 runs today. I don't know if he's that good. LOL.
good point. Kurt, you're up on the screen next. Who's your winner?
My winner is the best organization in baseball. When anybody ever says, who could we go get for the Yankees? Take someone from that Houston Astro organization. You got one of the best pitchers in baseball. Now, you gave up a lot. You're number 1 and number 4 prospect. But again, when you have a shot to go win a championship, you go do it. They will be back in the World Series. They'll win another one. The best organization in baseball, the Houston Astros.
Okay, so we got the Astros from Kurt, the Angels from Paul, Orioles from me. Scoop, you going with one of ours, or you got one on your own? And then I'm going to come right back to you for your loser. Let you go first for losers.
All right. So I was going to say Anaheim, but since that was already said, I like what the Milwaukee Brewers did. They went out and they got a couple of guys in Andrew Chaffin and Mark Canha, who came in from the Mets. They went out and they moved Luis Urias, but they actually got a piece that I like a lot in Bradley Bladluck. Excuse me. And the teams that they really thought were going to go out there and make a lot of moves in the division, in the NL Central, rivals of the Brewers didn't. So I think that helps them win it as well. So I think that I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Milwaukee Brewers kind of finish out the season stronger than we expected.
I like it, Scoops. I'm going to come right back to you, snake style, piggyback. We're going to do the losers now. So who was your biggest, maybe a couple other winners? The Rangers. Nobody said the Rangers. Obviously with Scherzer, C.J. Cron. They made moves in that loaded American League West now. So I would consider them a winner as well. So well done, fellas, on the winners. I'm going to pass it now to Scoops for his loser, and we'll go reverse order for this one. So we'll let Scoops go first on the loser.
Okay, how am I going to do this in 30 seconds? But New York Yankees. I'm disgusted with the way that they handled the trade deadline. I've been defending Brian Cashman for too long now, and I felt like he gave me a colossal middle finger yesterday. It was very clear that they needed to go out and add at least one bat, if not two, and that they needed to trade from the pitching staff, from the depth in order to do so. The one thing they didn't need was a reliever. They go out and get a reliever who has an ERA of 8 since the middle of June, and they go out and get a starting pitcher who, what is that? What's beeping?
I don't hear any beeping.
I don't hear anything beeping
No.
either.
Oh,
Me
sorry.
neither.
Well, regardless, that's it's the Yankees. I think Brian Cashman has, at that point yesterday, I would have rather him done nothing than go out and make a couple of moves that just felt like an in-your-face move to the fans.
That's fair enough, Scoops. And I think maybe one or two of us, or all of us, may even have the Yankees. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to go to Paul next. I'm going to go to Kurt next, actually. I'm going to go to Kurt next. Paul.
Yeah, listen, Scoops hit it 1,000% on the money. I mean, again, with that payroll, your pitching staff is an absolute mess. Your hitting is worse than your pitching staff. And you get another relief pitcher. I mean, what are you going to do? Start your pitchers now and pitch them one or 2/3 an inning and get to the bullpen? I mean, it's an absolute joke. I'm going to be honest. It's an embarrassment of what he has done to this team. They gave him a Ferrari and he turned it into, like, seriously, like a go-kart. It's a joke. Michael Kay today was saying there was very loud fire Chapman, Cashman chants at the Yankee Stadium, you're going to hear it. Because if it gets ugly tonight and then the Astros are here, oh boy, it's going to get ugly.
Fair enough. And Kurt, before I get to Paul, I'm going to bring in our buddy Carson. Made it.
Hey, there he
What's up,
is.
guys? How we doing?
Hey.
What's going on?
Hey, Carson.
How
Just
you guys
doing a little trade deadline talk, Carson.
Sweet.
Real quick, you have a winner in a rapid fire answer?
Winner
deadline?
probably the Astros. Crazy that they got Verlander that they literally just got rid of him after they won the World Series. Now they got him back. So I think the Astros for sure, and then loser, I'd probably say the Yankees. The Yankees are probably the loser on the list.
Yeah, we're just doing losers right now. So Kurt, Ryan and Kurt just went. So you just nailed the Yankees too. I'm curious if we're all going to go Yankees, because Paul may go a little different. I'm going to see what Paul's got to say.
You were wrong, Kenny. As much as I'd love to say my New York Metropolitans, it's too low hanging fruit not to go to the other side of New York. I mean, what are the Yankees doing? What's Cashman doing? You know, I mean, you guys said it all. I can't say anything more except I'm just shaking my head about what the hell they're doing and what their needs are. That's all I have to say.
I'm going to agree real quick with the Yankees. Only scoops. Only if September they don't play these kids, because this is now, we all said, if you don't make trades, Cashman, play the kids. So you got Peraza, you got Florial, you got the catcher down there. Bring them up in September and let them play. If it's an epic failure at the deadline.
This is 10 seconds, but there was a report that came out that said Everson Pereira may get a promotion after the deadline. That is the one way, in my opinion, they can save the deadline that they had.
Guys, couple comments. Kenny, Eddie saying, in a way, I think the Mets are a winner as well from the selling point.
I agree with that.
Then he's also saying, I haven't watched the Yankees in weeks and I don't plan to start soon. And then till about 5 minutes to the deadline, Yankees were the only team not to make a trade. We also got a comment from the one and only Joey Clams, and this is via text.
Joey.
Just for the record, Joey Clams was right on every point on the Cashman Yankees for the last 6 years. So Joey Cashman is looking good. Joey Clams is looking sharp right now and very smart with all this.
I thought you did that on purpose.
Kurt, real quick, I'm going to throw a couple other teams I think could be, losers in my opinion, and then I'm going to pass it off to you for our predictions in the second half.
Okay.
The Guardians. Carson's division. They're only a game out of first place, and they traded. Shane Bieber goes on the DL. Aaron Savali's having a heck of a year. Got traded to the Rays, and just made the Rays rotation more better. Savali had an under 3 ERA. He was the ace of the staff with with Bieber going down. What does that tell your fan base? And you go and trade him away. Only 1 game out of first place. I think they were a loser. I think the Rays, even though they got Aaron Savali, were a loser because I think they still have holes. I think they needed bullpen help and they didn't get it. And they only did that Aaron Savali trade. I thought they could have made a couple other moves. And Carson's Tigers, I'm going to throw as a loser. And not because the way you think. You lost Lorenzen, but they were trying to trade Rodriguez. But I'm happy as a fan. But what is your GM doing? You call in Eduardo Rodriguez. Hey, you've been traded to the Dodgers. No, I haven't.
Right.
No, I haven't. You need to know that as a GM. And then you couldn't move him to another team. You're telling me nobody wanted him. And so if they really wanted to get rid of him, they did it the wrong way. So I'm going to have them as a third loser because you did lose Lorenzen. And you're only 5 games out. So you could have made a little run at this division. Those are my losers. Winners, losers, guys. I think we did that really, really well. Next baseball, I'm going to pass it off to Kurt because wants us to do some second half predictions.
Yeah, second half predictions. So again, if we could do this real quick, Eddie's also saying Rodriguez chose to stay in Detroit rather than a chance at a title with the Dodgers.
Carson and guys, I respect Rodriguez because his family's closer on the East Coast, so he didn't want to go to the West Coast. So I respect that.
Right.
And there he is, probably the happiest man right now on this stream, Mr. Jody Moncrief, saying Astros, baby. And yeah, I mean, listen, I think they're the World Series favorites. I really do.
Congratulations, Jody.
Well, yeah, we're going to get into that with
Joey
predictions
Clams.
now, Kurt, right?
Yeah.
By the way, Joey Clams is also saying that he lost his contacts. So tell the boys to please text me their number and name so he can save it. So after the show, if you guys can just text Joey Clams back,
Okay.
he lost all his contacts. So
Sure.
that's probably why we haven't gotten anything today. Tampa Bay -1.
Yeah, I wasn't getting any picks.
That's what I'm saying. I know,
Hey,
right?
what's going on with Joey
What's going
Clams?
on? What's going on? All right.
Hmm.
So if we could just do this real quick, I'm going to go division winners. I'll start with the American League. I'll start first. So give me your division winners, your 3 teams that get into the wild card, and then your ALCS pick. So I'm going to go Tampa Bay. I'm going to take Cleveland. I'm going to take Houston. Wild card teams, Baltimore, Texas, Seattle. And I'm going to go Astros over Tampa Bay in the American League. Kenny, what do you got?
Wow. I got Orioles in the East. I got the Twins. They're going to run away with it in the West. They're not, run away meaning 3-game lead. I don't see anybody catching them now. I'm going to have Texas. Scherzer's going to surprise people and piss Paul and everybody else off there in Metland. He's going to have a hell of a second half of the season.
I don't hold grudges.
My 3 wild cards, Kurt: the Rays, the Astros, and the Blue Jays. Ohtani falls short. I got down here, and Joey Clams, hold your ears. I got the Baltimore Orioles winning the American League, going to the World Series.
Wow.
Okay. Mr. Rosen. Oh, wait, by the
Okay.
way, a couple comments coming. Let me just get to these comments. Eddie saying, since Cash is prospect hugging, I want to see all these kids there hugging, play every game in September. Jody's saying Valdez with the no-hitter. Pepper Deeds saying live reaction to Cole giving up a 2-run homer in the first. Not surprised. Long term, are the Yankees done this season? And Eddie's saying Yankees will finish under 500. Mr. Rosen.
Well, I want to
Okay.
answer Pepper's question.
Go ahead. Who wants to answer it? Are the Yankees
I'll
done
answer
this
a part
season?
of it, and I'll let Scoops answer the second part of it.
Okay.
My live reaction to Cole giving up a 2-run homer. I can't get too upset with him. He's been our MVP minus Judge this year, so everybody has an off, not even just an off day. Maybe it was just a bad pitch. Franco got the best of him. I wasn't surprised at that. And I'll let Scoops answer the second part. Long term, are the Yankees done this season?
Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised at this point if we finished last in the division. A few years ago, Brian Cashman called us a fully operational Death Star. The only thing that's getting killed is the 40,000 fans that go to the game every night and the millions of fans who turn in to watch this shit.
I'm not sure who Eddie's talking about there, Kurt. Do you?
Yeah. Did you guys read the Athletic article from Max? How he said,
Yeah, Max Scherzer.
Oh,
He's
Max
talking
Scherzer.
about-
Max Scherzer. Yeah. So about that they're not going to go next year.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to talk about that more on the Mets show coming up with at 9 tonight. But we'll have some comments on that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another comment on YouTube.
Can I answer that one,
Yes.
Kenny?
Yes.
Yeah, from LMCO, last in the division, but team decides not to sell. Why not? You know what? I 100% agree. That's why, and again, we'll get more into the Mets, but the Mets admitted it was a mistake. It failed, but right on the spot, 360, bang. Get it, change the philosophy, get it out, and you got top prospects for it. Just like LMCL saying, Yankees did nothing. Nothing. I agree with Kenny and Scoop. I want all this garbage gone. Dominguez, Peraza, get all the guys up and get them playing, because if that's your team next
more
year,
Brito.
jump.
I want to see more Brito. And Pepper, thank you for asking us the questions. Any questions we gladly answer to the best of our knowledge and give you our opinions on them. So we appreciate you being part of our show.
Kurt, I just want to jump in and say, let's talk about the question is with the Mets. Is it a colossal embarrassment? Because I have some thoughts on that. And we can talk about that on the show also.
Okay, perfect. Yep.
Yeah, for those who don't know, that going to be a little Mets talk after the K&K show tonight. Little
LMCO
bonus
saying Mets fan here owning up to the failure is something I've seen teams constantly not do, and they pay for it. Couldn't agree more, you guys. LM, and again, we're doing strictly a Met show at 9:00 tonight. So if you want to tune in for that, we got Ryan, Conway, and Paul, and it'll be all Met talk. So, but I agree. I agree with that topic, Kenny.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Kurt,
Okay.
why don't we get back to your predictions?
All right,
I gave
Mr.
you mine.
Rosen.
Yeah. So, looking at your predictions, it sounds similar to mine, or vice versa. Tampa Bay in the East, the Guardians in Central, the Astros in the West. My wild card teams are the Orioles. Thank you, Kenny. The Rangers. And I waffle between the Blue Jays and Angels, but I think ultimately the Blue Jays get in as the third wild card. And my conference championship will be Astros versus the Rangers, Game 7, Scherzer against Verlander.
Who you got?
And you know what, Kurt? Real quick, I could just say Blue Jay real quick about the. Oh, go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry, I didn't.
No,
mean to cut that off.
no, that's all right. I got to go with the Astros, Game 7.
I was just going to say about the Blue Jays. You know what? Bichette goes down. They got a backup shortstop to play while Bichette's down.
Mm-hmm.
Romano goes down. They got Hicks from the Cardinals. When these guys come back, this Blue Jay team is going to be tough.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to get in the wild card.
Mr. Scoops.
Excuse me. Pardon, Mike. So for the AL East division winner, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay Rays. AL Central division winner, I'll go with the Minnesota Twins. AL West division winner, I'm going to go with the Houston Astros, unfortunately. And then on the side of going for the wild card, I'm going to go with the Blue Jays, the Orioles, and the Texas Rangers. NL East, I think it's pretty clear the Atlanta Braves are having a historically good season.
Not NL
Oh, no,
yet.
not nationally.
Well,
just
not yet.
American League, just American
I'm sorry.
Just your American, and then your ALCS will be who?
My ALCS will be, for now, I'm going to go with the Houston Astros and the Tampa Bay Rays.
And who wins comes out of that?
I got to go with the Astros just because it seems like they win every damn year at this point.
Carson.
Yeah, I got similar to what you guys were saying. I got AL East for Rays, Central the Twins, West with the Rangers, wild card Houston and Baltimore, and then ALCS I've got the Rays against the Rangers and the Rays going to the World Series.
Okay, so a little different. Carson's going a little different.
I
Carson,
love that all you guys pick the Rays and you don't want to listen to me about those Orioles. I love it. Just, I could,
You've been on that
bragging rights
bandwagon.
there.
Eddie's saying, and the only left fielder the Yanks are paying this year is Hicks, and he's not even on the team. Jody Scoops is saying, Scoops, cheer up, say Astros.
Those are completely mutually exclusive.
Poison words, right? All right, let's come right back to Carson. Give me your NL division winners and your wild cards.
Sure. Yeah. So East, like Ryan was saying earlier, I think the Braves, I think we're all on board with that. Central, kind of a toss up. I went back and forth between the Brewers and the Reds. I love what the Reds are doing this year. I think the Brewers are just a little bit too talented. So I got Brewers in the Central. West, I'm going to go with the Giants. I think they jump the Dodgers. They're going to pull away in the final upcoming months. And then wild card, I'll put the Phillies and the Dodgers. And then NLCS, I'll throw in I'll go Braves and Phillies.
And who comes out?
Braves.
Okay. I got a question. Well, I got a question for Scoops from Clams, but I'll get to that after this, Kenny. Okay. Let's go, Mr. Kirkpatrick. Your NL picks.
NL's a little more chalky, in my opinion, for me. I got the Braves out of the East. The Central's the one where everybody's can be a little different. I'll go with the young Reds hanging on. I'm going to go with the Reds. A nice little story there. I like the young teams. West, I'm going to go to Dodgers. Wild card, I'm going to go Phillies. I'm going to go Marlins. I like the moves they made. And My last team, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Diamondbacks. They're gonna catch enough fire to leapfrog the Giants and get into the wild card, and they'll be the last wild card. I'm gonna have the Braves and Dodgers in the championship, and I'll have the Braves coming out this year.
Okay. Eddie's saying the great Volpe with a 2-run homer to tie it up. LOL.
Thank
Scoops,
God.
NL picks.
Thank God, one of the few hitters that doesn't suck. Atlanta Braves definitely going to win the division in the NL East. Like I said before, they're having a historic season. NL Central, I got to go with the Milwaukee Brewers. I just called them one of my deadline winners. NL West, LA Dodgers. It feels like that happens every year at this point, and I see no reason why it won't happen this year. NL Wild Card, I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Phillies. I'm going to go the San Francisco Giants, and then for the last spot, I got to go with the Miami Marlins. I think that they put themselves in a position to be a surprise third team this year, and I could see them actually making a little further in October than people expect.
And your
Right.
NLCS?
My NLCS, I would have to go with I'm going to go with the Atlanta Braves and the LA Dodgers. Winning that series, I would have the Atlanta Braves.
All right, I'll go next. I'm almost Scoops. Me and you were identical until one wild card. Atlanta, Milwaukee, Dodgers, Philly, Giants. You went Miami. I'm going to go with the Cubs. They're hot. They've I think you're going to get this fan base back involved in this. So I'm going to take the Cubs, but I'm going to go chalk in the, to the NLCS. I'm going to go Dodgers over Atlanta. Kenny.
I gave you mine.
Oh, sorry, Paul. Paul.
Yeah, very similar to everyone. Braves. I also went back and forth between the Reds and Brewers, but I like Kenny's pick of the Reds, and I went with the Reds also. And Dodgers. My wild card: Phillies, Marlins, and I think the Giants will make it as well. And I also have chalk Braves and Dodgers with the Braves coming out.
Okay. And real quick, I'll start it up. I am going Astros over Dodgers. Scoops, your World Series.
My World Series, I'm going to go. I was going to go Braves over the Astros, but now after they got Verlander, I think it's going to be the Astros again.
Okay. Kenny.
Joey Clams, hold your ears. But no, this is where it ends. But I got that. I told you that this is going to be the Cinderella Orioles season to get to the World Series. Braves are going to be too much this year. Braves over the Orioles.
Carson.
Yeah, I got Braves versus Rays, and I think Tampa Bay is going to win.
And Mr. Rosen.
Jody Moncrief is going to like this. In the words of John Sterling, back to back, belly to belly. The Astros will win their second straight championship.
Okay, Kenny. 30-second answer from Scoops because Clams has a question, but 30 seconds. Ask Scoops, why has Torres, Sanchez, and other players gotten worse under Boone and that coaching staff, and they never fixed them or made them better? 30-second response to that.
Sanchez, Sanchez was a 7-year minor leaguer because of personality and discipline issues. I don't see how that has anything to do with Aaron Boone. I think that that's a personality issue. We saw it in his defense or lack thereof. Gleyber Torres, I think that he was better moved to second base. I think that moving him to shortstop screwed up his offensive ability because, again, it's more demanding, and some players are better offensively moving to second base. I think screwing him up, moving him back and forth, that didn't help. But, again, Gleyber Torres, I would like to see more urgency with the way that he plays defense. But again, I if you want to make everything about Aaron Boone be my guest, I just don't see the legitimacy there.
Can I try and answer in 10 seconds, Kurt?
Sure.
If I go over 10, stop me. I think, Joey, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, Boone wants more home runs than contact. and I don't know if that's true, but yesterday you saw Kiner Falefa get pinch hit in the ninth inning, who was batting, I think I saw a stat, he's batting almost 360 in the last 7 games for Stanton, who's batting 125. Wanted a home run.
By the way,
that's what the players
Stanton
see.
just hit a 3-run homer. So there's his homer. So his next hit will be September.
But I'll just say, Kurt, maybe Boone, maybe these players see, Sanchez trying to hit the home run, Torres trying to hit the home run. Maybe that's what you're seeing more of. Maybe we bring in a manager in the future who's more of contact hitting, small ball type of manager, and maybe we'll see different results in the players.
Can I really quickly respond
it's just my
to that,
opinion.
or do I not have time?
That was my response, Kurt. It's just my opinion.
No, I'm saying, do I have time to respond or no?
Yeah, but you have real quick.
Yeah, I agree and disagree with you. I think that's coming from the front office. I think the front office is being too heavy-handed on the coaching staff and kind of imposing themselves from above. I don't think that's an Aaron Boone problem.
I agree with you. I agree that, and again, he's just an extension of that front office. All right, Kenny. So that's the baseball predictions.
Okay, I'll get caught up on a couple more comments, Kurt. Our good friend over there in Denver Bronco training camp this week. The Denver Bronco Roundups
comments. Sorry.
Keith Brugman saying, good evening to the Fab Five, the amazing K&K Sports Show.
What's up,
Love
Keith?
you, Keith. Was on Keith's show last night.
What's up,
for a
Keith?
bit, as they picked up Fabian Moreau from us, Paul.
Yeah, I know. I saw that, actually.
Eddie listening. Eddie saying, no one has repeated since the Yankees, and I don't think that's going to change, so Braves will win. Eddie's also saying Miami has been wanting Torres, but Yanks wanted too much. No surprise there. Keith's got a question. I'll read Eddie's last comment first, and then I'll ask Keith's question for the group, Kurt, before we get to Carson's hot seat.
Okay.
Eddie Murphy, IKF contact hitter for a strikeout hitter. Any great manager would have kept IKF in over a guy who strikes out 4 out of 5 times. And that's what I was saying about the home run over contact. I think he wants the one, take that chance with that one at bat as opposed to, starting a rally, continuing a rally, ended in one at bat. Keith's question for the group. I'll go how I see it on my screen. It's going to be Paul first. What's one extra team would you personally want added to the Major League playoffs regardless of record? Can't say your own team. Let's do it that way.
Right.
Can't say the Mets. I can't say the Yankees. Scoops can't say Yankees. We'll do it that way.
Other than the teams that we selected?
Other than team that, other the teams that we selected, what's a team you'd want to see in?
I would pick the Diamondbacks as a team. They're young and exciting.
Kurt.
I'm going to have to say the Angels just because it would be must-see TV to see Ohtani pitch and hit, best player in baseball, and to get him in the postseason.
Scoops.
Same with Kurt. You got 2 of the greatest players of all time in Ohtani and Trout. I don't know how you go into the postseason not wanting to watch them do it.
Carson.
Yeah, I'd say Angels. Another one I'd like to see be the Padres.
Yeah, I'm with you, Carson.
Good one.
The Angels, and I was going to say the Padres as well. Good question, Keith. A lot of us say with the Angels because you got the best player in baseball history, arguably. You want to see him in the playoffs and Mike Trout. So I think the Angels, but Padres is another good one. And Diamondbacks, nice young team. So nice answer. Nice question there, Keith. Appreciate that. All right, boys. I think it's that time. This week's hot seat contestant, come on down. It's Mr. Carson Scheer. You ready, Carson?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's go.
I'm ready.
I'm going to start off with Paul this week. His first question for Carson.
Okay.
Hot seat.
This is a softball question, Carson. I'll make it easy. Favorite Lion of all time?
Barry Sanders, no question.
Nice.
Kurt Valenti, your first question.
Carson, in order, and these are quarterbacks you had to see them in person, not in person. You had to see them live.
Okay.
You had to be old enough to see them play. Rank the 3 best quarterbacks that you've seen play for the Detroit Lions.
Wow. Boy. That's a really good question. Wow. Yeah, growing up, I had a pretty bad childhood with Lions quarterbacks. So there's a few guys that I'm limited to that I've seen in my lifetime. Oh boy, who do I put number 3? 3, maybe Culpepper a long time ago. I'm just trying to, it's because it's either between like Harrington, Kitna, or Culpepper that I can remember. So probably Culpepper number 3, and then Stafford 2. I would say Goff 2, Stafford 1. Goff can replace Stafford though. If he gets to an NFC Championship game, I would put Goff ahead of Stafford.
Nice.
But not right now.
Wow.
Scoops, your first one for Carson.
You named some quarterbacks. I don't even know who they are. Okay. So I got a question. If I could tell you that you could take either the Red Wings, the Tigers, the Pistons, or the Lions and put them in their championship, not necessarily win it, but put them in their league's championship, but you knew that the other 3 teams had no shot at a championship for the next 10 years, which team would you want to see it?
Lions 1000%. This team has been horrific the past several decades, arguably the worst in NFL history. By far, I would give anything to have a Lions Super Bowl and scrap the other 3 for sure.
Very nice.
That's good. You guys should have. Paul had a similar question to me, and Scoops had a similar question to me. So
sorry, Kenny.
That's all right. I'll think of a third one later. If not, I got 2 good ones. I got an A and B, so this will count as 2 for Carson. Carson, we all know you got your YouTube channel Ticket Time, but one that we don't mention on here often is your first one that you still have, and that's Carson Claws, and that's revolved around arcade games and arcade claw machines. First question is, A, how did you get started on YouTube? And 2, on Carson Claws, how did the phrase "go eat a churro" start that you should trademark?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So basically a bunch of my friends and I, we went to Walmart and we would just have like a little Facebook group chat and say, hey, what did you win from the claw machine today? And we'd have like $5 to $10 a week that we got from allowance, and we would go blow it on the claw machines, and we would just kind of start talking, and then it evolved into video chatting, and then we started recording our wins, and then we said, why not post them online? And then everything just kind of snowballed effect into that. So that's kind of how it started. That catchphrase, it was just a stupid saying. I was going into a bowling once, and when we're editing videos, we try to think of a joke or a phrase or a saying to make it funnier, I guess, in the videos. So the first thing I thought of was churro, and it's stuck ever since. And now it's go eat a churro, and that can mean all different things. It can mean happy, positive, or it can mean something else, depending on how you want to take it. So
we'll go with the children's show, so we'll say the Mexican donut. All right, so I'll ask this one I'll consider my second question, and I'll just say, what is the biggest prize you've ever won on a claw machine that you can think of?
Prize that I've won. Claw machine's a little bit different because most of the time you're dealing with stuffed animals. I would say redemption-wise, like an arcade game would probably be an iPad. We've won iPads, PlayStation 4s, Xboxes, all kinds of stuff. But I would probably say iPad. iPad was probably up there for most expensive.
Nice.
Carson, I saw you on a video with your claw machine. I'm like, wait a minute, is that Carson? I was shocked.
That's great.
Yeah.
Scoops, your second one for Carson.
Carson, now, this isn't my question, but it's going to lead into it. Are you a pizza guy?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can't say Detroit. What is the best like city or area pizza that you've had otherwise, and what is the worst?
Oh, wow. Yeah, Detroit deep dish, I think, is number 1. I can't say that. I have had New York pizza before. I would say New York's probably up there. And then probably, I wouldn't really have a worst pizza. I would say New York and Chicago are kind of right there with being up there. But yeah, and I couldn't really tell you a place where I've had like a worse pizza experience. I mean, Little Caesars, I know it's very popular everywhere, but me being in Michigan, it's everywhere because the Illich family is from Detroit. So I get sick of it seeing Little Caesars everywhere. It's not my favorite pizza, so I throw Little Caesars as kind of a pizza. I'm like, I don't really want it.
Interesting.
Nice. And then, so when we get Carson up to New Jersey, Kurt, we have to give him a Jersey pizza tour of all the pizza
Really?
places and see if he still thinks, see if it got ranked higher because, you know, there's definitely something in the water there in New Jersey, New York. I'll tell you that much. Mr. Rosen, your second question for Carson.
All right. Carson, you're a bowler, correct?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So tell us your best bowling one game score and your best series.
Okay. Yeah. So I was in high school once, and the way high school competition works, I bowled in high school. And you have basically Baker style format games where it's you bowl in an order in a frame for 5 frames. So you have a guy that bowls first, a guy that bowls fifth, and you alternate frames. So there's that, and then there's a 2-game individual series that you bowl just individually. So I actually have a medal for it on my varsity jacket. I had a 5-12 2-game series, and I think it was top 10 in the state for that year. So which is basically a 256 average. So
very nice.
Yeah. So I would say that, and then my highest all-time game ever is 288. I had the 10.
That's great.
9 in the 11th shot. I left God, I cannot speak. 10 strikes in a row, and then the 11th shot I left a 10 pin, the one on the far right, and then I missed a spare, so 288.
Oh my God!
Got a bonus one for Carson from Keith Brugman. Hot seat question for Carson. Have you ever entered a Joe Buck sound-alike contest? And if not, would you?
Oh my gosh. I haven't thought about that yet, Keith, but if anything comes up, I'll let you know.
Kurt, your second one.
My second one, even though somebody took it before, it might have been Scoops or Kenny, I'm not sure. I'm still going to ask you because it's a little different. Rank in order how you would want to see a championship. Here's your 5 options. 1 to 5, you got to rank them. Michigan State football wins the national championship. Michigan State basketball wins another title. Tigers World Series. Pistons another NBA title. And, of course, the Lions with a Super Bowl championship.
Wow. Okay, so I would say, I'd say Tigers 5, Pistons 4, Michigan State basketball 3, Michigan State football 2, Lions 1.
Nice. Paul, your third and final one for Carson.
Okay, I have a little one out of the box. M&M or Vanilla Ice?
Oh, that's a good one.
M&M for sure. Everybody in Michigan knows who that guy is. So M&M, Slim Shady, Mount Spaghetti all day.
Nice.
Nice.
Good.
Scoops, your third and final one for Carson.
All right. I'm changing my question because that just gave me an idea. So
okay,
don't steal my ideas.
No, I'm not stealing that one. But when it comes to Eminem, what is your favorite line in an Eminem song that we can actually say on this show?
Oh boy, let me think. Well, probably "Lose Yourself" is probably my all-time favorite Eminem song.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to think. I'm singing the lyrics in my head. I'm trying to think of a lyric.
He had a great question too.
Yeah. I'll come back to you, Ryan. I'm still trying to think of the lyrics.
Let's answer another one from Keith. You're better, Bad Boy Rodman or Lambier?
Oh man, God, Lambier, because he was the guy that kind of started the bad boy image. He just didn't really give a damn on the court. He just did everything possible. I would say the instigator, like I'm gonna punch you in the face, would be Lambier. Rodman had the bad boy mentality, like diving for loose balls, just going balls out every play. So hopefully answer your question, Keith.
Kurt, I'll go next, and I'll give you the final one. I like to
Okay.
go out of the box on my last one. So, Carson, you're on a deserted island, a different one than Kurt was on a couple weeks ago. You find a genie lamp. You rub the lamp, and who pops out? Mr. Kurt Valenti, out of all people, pops out. He grants
Lucky
you.
you.
He grants you 3 wishes, but they have to be sports wishes. What are those 3
Okay.
sports wishes?
Oh boy, sports wishes. Yeah, I'd probably relate it around the teams that Kurt mentioned. So I would say Lions Super Bowl win. I would say Spartans win a national championship in football, and then oh boy.
Go ahead,
I
say it.
think it- I think
Shohei
it'd be-
Ohtani to the Tigers.
Oh, yeah, sure, Italian to the Tigers. And I think it'd be cool to go to a Super Bowl one day. So I would say that too.
Awesome.
That's a
And
loaded
again,
question.
All right, my last one, Kenny. I'm going to go off the beaten path a little bit too. So tomorrow I'm going to Wildwood, Jen and I, for 2 days. So we're
Okay.
going to take the nephews. We're going to hit up that obviously an arcade. So 2-part question to this.
Okay.
If I find a crane, say something they want or I want,
Yeah.
and I can't win. 2-part question to you. If I send this I send you a video, I send you a picture. 1, give me a percentage that you think you could win it.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, how long would it take? Like if I said you got to come down to win this, how long would you need to say, I think I'll win this crane?
Wow.
And a percentage of it?
Yeah. So unfortunately, the majority, 99% of the claw machines you see on the boardwalk are 100% rigged, meaning no matter how good you are, the machine will physically not let you win the prize. And especially, basically, the more expensive the prize is that you're going for, you have no chance in hell of winning it. But if it's like a stuffed animal or something of a lower value prize, you could probably like a 25% chance that you would win it.
Okay. But I'm saying you, I'm like if you were there, what would you say the percentage would jump to?
If if it was like a stuffed animal, I would say it'd probably take me maybe 15 to 20 tries, because it all depends on, every machine has a payout rate. So basically the machine has to make enough money for the machine to let you win. So I would say 15 to 20 tries, and I could probably get it. Yeah.
All right.
It's amazing that they allow those machines to be rigged, because they do have they do have like carnival arcade people that come down and check the boardwalk games to make sure that they're not completely.
Yeah, they actually
rigged.
have inspections where they got to pass all kinds of laws and making sure it's fair and all kinds of stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. I just find it hard. Like, you got little kids playing the game, and you're gonna.
Yeah,
beat little
if you
kids
think
out of
about it, it's literally the casino for kids. That's what it is. It's claw
Good way of
machines and
putting it.
games. It's the kids version of casino. Yeah,
That's a good way of putting it.
So,
all right, fellas, I think Carson gets an A, right? I think he passed.
Oh, yeah.
Flying colors.
Guys,
Yeah,
we
and then
are
probably
right
Ryan
on
to
time
open.
too.
What's that? I was just going to answer Ryan really quickly. Probably when he opens it, Ryan, to seize everything you've ever wanted, would you capture or let it slip? Basically, you have the opportunity to do whatever you want. Are you going to go chase it, or stay back and let it slip? Basically,
I love that.
Yep. What were you saying, Kurt?
I said we're legitly, like, on the agenda. It said 8:20 Carson's corner, and it's 8:20,
nice.
which is shocking.
Perfect.
We'll see how long that lasts now.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Okay, so there's 3 topics that I wanted to get into the show. I think I'll probably save the quarterback one for last, because I think that could get really intense. So I'll start with the first one. That's kind of short and sweet, but it just kind of came across my news feed. I'll give you guys some time to respond if you guys want. The Women's World Cup is going on right now. Basically, they had the group stages where the top 2 teams of each stage, there's 4 countries in each stage, and the top 2 advance. And then they get into like the match play where it's single elimination. You have to win or you go home, just like how it was in the Men's World Cup. So the other day, basically the women's team tied with Portugal, and it was a 0-0 draw. And you could see the cameras when they were breaking down, like on the field. Pretty much all of the women's players were celebrating, giving each other high fives, hugging each other, signing autographs with the fans, which I'm totally fine for. But the only problem I have with it is, you are on the World Cup, the biggest stage in the world, and especially a couple years ago, how you guys wanted just as much money as the men. You were demanding for better rights, better pay, all kinds of good stuff. We should feel like we should be on a bigger stage, just as treated as the men should be, which I'm totally cool with as well. But you have to show up for it. And right now, this is the United States of America. This is the World Cup. You're representing your country, and you're celebrating after a draw to Portugal. And Carly Lloyd, who was a former player on the team, she basically called him out. She said, "You are so lucky you're not going home right now, because you're not the U.S. women's national team. You're playing like garbage right now." So just really quickly, if you guys want to talk about it, personally, I think she's right. I mean, you're defending your country. You're going out and you're giving each other high fives. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't like that mentality going into the next stage of basically do or die. You got to win or you're going home. So I think they have to clean their act up if they want to have any chance. They were the favorite to win the Women's World Cup this year, and they're having really they're having questions right now. So really quickly, if you guys want to give me your 30-second rapid fire, do you agree with what Carly Lloyd say? Should you have a better mentality going towards this? Yes or no? I'll start with Ryan first.
Yeah. So, excuse me. I mean, this is kind of similar to what I say in baseball sometimes. Like, I have no problem. Like, if you're going to hit a walk-off homer and you're like, you're celebrating it or whatnot in a big game, I'm chill with that. If you're down 8-1 and you hit a home run, I don't want to see you pimping it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the same mentality I have to this. Like if you make a major statement win and you're celebrating in one thing or another, good for you. Like, you have every right to do that. I like you said, I mean, I don't care for seeing stuff like that where it's, you're making a major celebration out of, like, and I'm fully support with what Carly Lloyd said.
Mm-hmm. Kurt.
Yeah, I agree with Scoops too. I heard this today on the Michael Kay show again, where people, Michael Kay is saying, well, the Yankees will just tell you, hey, if we make the playoffs, it's successful. No, it's not. It's a failure. You're in to win the championship. It's the same thing with these women. Like you said, Carson, they're if they don't win the World Cup, they failed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Carly Lloyd's a different animal. Like, she's saying it's either we win it all or we fail. These girls are taking pictures, Alex Morgan with the, like, they're not the same team. They don't have that mindset. It's championship or bust. That's what it is. That's why there's players like Carly Lloyd, and there's nobody on this team you could even compare to her, because they're not winners like that she is. They're not. They don't have that greatness. So I 1,000% agree with what she said.
Paul.
Yeah, I agree with you guys and her. There's an arrogance about this women's team that it's just very difficult to get behind. And I think celebrating a tie is so disrespectful to the rest of the world. I mean, be humble instead of being arrogant, and show that, hey, we're on a large stage, and this is how we conduct ourselves, and they just don't do that.
Nice. Kenny.
Agree with what she said, like everybody else said. I'm just going to add real quick, as a fan, I don't want to see ties. In World Cup, Stanley Cup, you don't see ties. So you know what? World Cup, why am I seeing ties? Let them have a shootout, play 5 to 10 minutes of bonus time, and then have a shootout. To celebrate a tie, like I said, is disrespectful not only to the world but to the fans. I mean, and what else are you going to see, Carson, going forward? You're going to see teams that are in already, nothing to lose, just play defense the whole game and not even care to score. You're going to go want to watch a soccer game that's 0-0? I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're going to see more of that going forward if they don't change the rules. So I'm looking more at it as a fan. I don't like it as a fan to see ties, but I agree with what Carly Lloyd said. This, and like Paul was saying, the arrogance on this team, I don't like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with all of you guys. You guys made great points. And the bottom line is you're going out for your country. And they always say you're playing for the name on the front of the chest, not the back of the chest. And clearly, I don't think that's their main focus right now. So they need to turn it around and get it together. So good job, guys, with that. Second topic I'll get into really quick.
And by the way, Carson, we named this segment Carson's Corner now.
Yeah.
And Keith,
cool.
Keith's giving us the whole song there. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy,
Oh, there you go,
all the way
Keith.
down to the end there. So I just want to that's Keith's favorite line from Eminem.
Nice. Yeah, I like it. Cool. So second one, NFL Hall of Fame game tomorrow, first preseason game of the year. Even though it's a bunch of backups that are playing tomorrow, there's something cool about knowing that NFL season's right around the corner again. So really quickly, I believe the Browns are favored tomorrow, -1.5. I could double check. That was the last time I see it. So really quick score prediction, then I'll get into a question about the Hall of Fame game that's in Canton, Ohio. So Kenny, Jets or Browns, if you had to pick? I know it's backups and second stringers, but who do you want to take?
I'm gonna go Jets because I hope they play Zach Wilson, the heck out of Zach Wilson this preseason. They got nothing to lose with Aaron Rodgers there. So real quick, my prediction will be 27 for the Jets, 20 for the Browns, and I hope Zach Wilson plays a lot.
Nice. And the line changed. It's even right now. So it's 50-50 split. It's hard to bet when it's a preseason game. So nice. Kurt, Jets or Browns?
You know what? I'm going to go a little bit with Cleveland, right? Joe Thomas, I believe, is getting in there. It's in the game is in Canton, Ohio. Probably have a nice Cleveland crowd there. So I'm going to go Cleveland. I'll go lower. I'll go like 17-13 Cleveland.
Nice. Ryan.
Yeah, I'm going with Kurt. Kurt, this is getting a little weird, the amount of agreements we're having.
I know.
Again, it's basically a home game for the Browns playing in Canton, Ohio. There's going to be a lot of fans there. I think it is a defensive game. These are two, in my opinion, very stout defenses going into this season. And I think we're going to see a bit of a physical game, which I hope that I'm right on. I'm going to give the Browns, let me give them a 20-14 win.
Nice. And Paul, Jets or Browns?
And yep, with the Jets, two inductees, Joe Klecko and Terrell Revis there. I'm going to go with the Browns, though, and Joe Thomas. Low-scoring game with the backups in there, 17-10. Browns winning.
Nice. I'm actually going to go with the Jets. Alluding to what Kenny said, I think this is a prove-it moment for Zach Wilson. I'm looking forward to seeing how he plays. Dealt with a bunch of adversity storylines last year. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he bounces back as well. So NFL Hall of Fame game, obviously in Canton, Ohio. By the way, if you guys haven't made the trip down there, I highly recommend it. I was there a few years ago, and it's just football heaven. I mean, there's so many things to look at and do down there. So highly recommend if you haven't taken a trip down to the Hall of Fame. So there was a couple snubs that were left off the list. One of them was Devin Hester, who, in my opinion, I think is the greatest kick return special teamist in NFL history. Would you guys classify him as a Hall of Famer? And do you think, he should have gotten in? And is he a snub and should have been on this list? Really quickly, yes or no, is Devin Hester a Hall of Famer? Ryan?
Yeah, I think so. I think the only player you could really put him up against is Josh Cribbs. And I think that they're both Hall of Fame players.
Paul?
I looked up his stats, and obviously he holds the record for returns for punts and kickoffs with 20. He did have actually a lot of receptions, 250 receptions. But he was too specialized as a return guy as opposed to having a specific position. So initially, I'm going to say no at this point.
Okay. Kenny?
I'm going to disagree with Paul one of the few times I do. If you can put a punter in the Hall of Fame in Ray Guy, then you better put the best punt returner of all time, kick returner in the Hall of Fame in Devin Hester. So I do believe he belongs in the Hall of Fame, Carson.
Nice. And then, Kurt, if you want to piggyback off your response here for Devin Hester, and then one of the inductees, your boy DeMarcus Ware, Kurt, was one of the inductees for this year's class. Obviously, he won a Super Bowl with your Broncos. So if you want to answer the Devin Hester question and then talk about DeMarcus Ware for a minute or so.
Yeah, I disagree with Paul too, like Kenny and Scoops. I mean, he really started the, let's not kick the ball to this guy. And then when you did, it was just, touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. I think he changed the game in the return game. So I'm going to say absolutely he should be. And now getting back to DeMarcus Ware, yeah, he came over to Denver in 2014. Elway brought him in with that big class. Elway was him, Talib, Emmanuel Sanders. And, not only as a player, I think what he did for Denver is, when Von Miller was a young player, he got himself into a lot of trouble. And basically DeMarcus Ware took him under his wing as a role model. And those 2 years there, especially the second year when they won that Super Bowl, Von Miller basically says, like, you saved my life and you saved my career. And obviously we know how that went. Super Bowl MVP for Von Miller. So forever grateful for 94 being a Bronco. Had huge playoff games for them that run. So absolutely. And, he's obviously a great career in Dallas too, but his Bronco career ended with a Super Bowl and, absolutely worthy of Hall of Famer.
Nice. So that was my quick Hall of Fame segment. Should be a good, fun game to watch. It'll be cool to see.
Eddie's asking Carson if he's going in as a Bronco or a Cowboy. I mean, is he going in as one or he's going in as both? They don't go in as one, right? For football,
yeah, I think they go in as both, I believe.
Yeah.
Broncos and Cowboys.
Yeah,
I believe. I can check on that later. But
they don't wear like baseball. You pick the hat, right?
Baseball goes in as a team. I think football you just go.
Right.
Yeah, because it's a statue of their
bust.
Their bust of that.
The bust.
Right. Because Payton went in as a Colt and a Bronco.
Yeah.
So gotcha. That's my quick little short segment on the NFL Hall of Fame game. Should be fun to watch tomorrow, even though it's preseason. It'll be cool to see football back in action. Save the best for last. I think this could get a little bit heated. I've got a guy on the list that somebody may not necessarily agree with on my top 5 list, but I thought this was kind of a fun topic to discuss with you guys. Top 5 most overrated quarterbacks in the NFL. Obviously, every team has a quarterback. Some shine, some fall, some are kind of mediocre, and that's kind of where I'm targeting is the mediocre. Are they really worthy of being a starting quarterback? Is there somebody else better? A lot of them I don't think should be making nearly the money that they are right now. So I will I'll say my 5, and then I'll get your guys' 5 around the panel. Really quickly, rapid fire. I'm going straight after Kurt. Russell Wilson, number 5. Listen, Kurt, I know he's had a great career so far, but the whole Broncos country, let's ride. I was sick and tired of it, hearing it after year, month after month. And it's just a huge letdown. I think if you want to say that the stat again, Kurt, off the top of your head, if they were to just scored like a certain amount of points, they would have had a winning record.
Oh, it was like 19 points. No, I'm sorry. Was it 19? It might have been even like less than that, 16 points or something crazy.
I think it was 16.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, they got to put together an offense. I know you guys had some injuries, but this is a must prove it year for Russell Wilson. So I think I put him 5 right now on the list, Kurt. I still think he's a great quarterback, but right now I would put him in that range. Number 4, I am so ecstatic. This guy is out of the NFC North. He's in New York. He's living it up, doing whatever the hell he does. Aaron Rodgers, get him out of my division, get him out of my site. Yeah, he won an MVP, but when's the last time he did anything relevant in the playoffs? Not for a while. So good luck in the AFC, Aaron Rodgers. We will not miss you. So
by the way, Carson, Jody's coming after you saying you haven't heard Let's Ride this year.
We'll see.
Because you haven't played any games this calendar year.
Right. I put Rodgers at number 4 right now. Number 3, I think we're going to have on all of our lists. Dak Prescott. Again, it's what can you do for me now in the playoffs when the money's on the line? It's crunch time. Yeah, he's had just a get by season to season. They can get him into the wild card, but you see what he's done before in the past. He just can't get him over the hump. I haven't seen it quite just yet. It's America's team. It's Dak Prescott. It's everybody else, and I'm just sick and tired of it. So I put Prescott number 3. Number 2, Justin Herbert. You blew a 27-0 lead in the playoffs. Next, we have Josh Allen, number 1. I think obviously there's a lot of talk about Josh Allen. I think he's a terrific quarterback. But again, in the postseason, I have some question marks. I mean, he was horrific last year. Just turnover after turnover. I'm getting worried about him as well, doing all these scrambling out of the pockets and running for his life and taking hits right off linebackers. So we'll see how far he can go. But that's who I have. I got Wilson 5, Rodgers 4, Dak 3, Herbert 2, and Allen 1. So you guys might have a similar list, different. I will go to Kurt first on this.
Guys, real quick, Carson, 1 second from David Burns. He said he's watching from Cedar Hill, Texas, saying he needs to come to the Bears. Eddie's saying, thanks for not adding Daniel Jones in there, LOL. Well, he went to the wrong guy because guess who's number 5? Ding, 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 ding. Daniel Jones. If he's worth $40 million,
what a shock.
That other quarterback that's number 4 on Carson's list, and that's in Florham Park, is worth $400 million. This guy is worth not even 1/10 of that money. I'm sorry. He will not make it out of next what's his 4-year deal? He won't make 2 years as that quarterback. Absolutely not. Number 4, and I hope Jody's watching, Geno Smith. Geno's going to Geno. I'm sorry. You know how they say aberrations of this and that? I've watched too much of Geno Smith. You can have him. You can take him. Absolutely not. Not for me. Number 4. Number 3, Justin Fields. Here's my thing.
Wow.
I do not want quarterbacks who can't throw the ball, that are runners. Okay. He still can't read the defense. All he wants to do is run around. That's not how you win. Yeah, you're going to get on ESPN. You're going to get on Sports Center. But what happens when it's 3rd and 12 in a playoff game? You can't run a quarterback draw, right? You can't. You got to throw it. He didn't do it in Ohio State. He's not doing it here. Number 2 is Justin Fields, but even bigger, Lamar Jackson. We're going to give him 40 million, 50 million, same thing. And everyone's going to go, oh my God, ooh and ah, in the regular season. Look at the 80-yard run he gets. Here comes the playoffs. Here comes the defensive coordinators. Here comes the game plan. Now you make him throw. He'll be 9 for 31, lose the playoff game. I watched one game. It was his rookie year. They're going for the playoffs. And it was like 4th and 9. And they just had a deliberate, quarterback run. They were like, Harbaugh don't want him to throw it. Well, how's he the quarterback if you don't have confidence in him throw it? And number 1, Dak Prescott. This guy, he's 2 for 11. So far in his career, he's been behind the best offensive line in football. He had the best running back in football in Zeke Elliott for 4 years. He had a top-notch defense the past 2 years. He had CeeDee Lamb. Who's the other guy? Cooper. What else can you give this guy? And he never does nothing. Well, John Beelan always said, well, he threw 4 touchdowns and 400 yards, and he came back from being down 28-7. Yeah, because he put him in a 28-7 hole. Sorry, you take him in the playoffs, not me. Every year he has a better team. Now they have to take back and pull back because you're giving him $40 million. No way. Most overrated player, Dak Prescott.
Nice, Kurt. I love it. Paul, give me your top 5.
Okay. I looked at the overrated quarterback a little different. So my number 5 and 4 are very similar. Kyler Murray, number 5, Baker Mayfield, number 4. Why those 2 guys were number 1 picks in the NFL draft, I still don't understand that. Both of them are horrible. They've never really proven anything. Baker Mayfield may not even win the starting job in Tampa Bay this year. So Murray, number 5, Baker Mayfield, number 4. My number 3, a guy that's been around only because certain teams don't have better quality quarterbacks. The Minnesota Vikings won in spite of him, not because of Kirk Cousins. So Kirk Cousins, to me, is number 3, too overrated. Number 2, like you said, Carson, Josh Allen. It's put up or shut up time. He's had so many opportunities now to he's gotten to the playoffs, and what has he done? Absolutely nothing. To lose at home to a Cincinnati Bengal team, especially with the ability of having the home field advantage, the crowd yelling and screaming behind them, and he came up very, very short in their game that they lost to the Bengals in Buffalo. And of course, echoing Kurt's words, Mr. Most overrated quarterback, Mr. Dak Prescott. This guy, I don't know what the Cowboys still continue to see in him. Actually, as a Giants fan, I'm so glad that they do, because give him a chance. He's come out. Oh, I'm going to throw less interceptions. I'm going to throw less than 15 interceptions or 10 interceptions. You know what? With everything that you have not done, shut your damn mouth and just go out there and prove that you're a competent quarterback. And you talk about Daniel Jones making $40 million. You know what? I'll pay Daniel Jones $40 million more than I'll pay Dak Prescott $40 million. Because at the end of the day, I'll get more out of Daniel Jones than the Cowboys will get out of Dak Prescott.
Eddie
So that's
Murphy saying if Gino is number 4, Russell Wilson has to be your number 1. Jody Moncrief, number 5, Daniel Jones, number 4, Dak Prescott, number 3, Geno Smith. Sounds like my list. Number 2, Lamar Jackson, number 1, Herbert, 0 playoff wins. Eddie saying surprised Watson hasn't been on a list yet.
So that's my 5.
Nice, Paul. I'll go to Ryan next.
What's up? Excuse me. In terms of ranking, I kind of keep rearranging these guys every 10 minutes, but in terms of just guys that I'll actually go for it. Now, I've ranted about this guy a ton, and I'm glad I'm moving in a week so I don't have to hear the blowback I'll get in Western New York for this. Can we stop pretending that Josh Allen's the second best quarterback in the NFL? I've watched him lose more games for Buffalo than I've watched him win, especially in big moments. Excuse me. I know that I keep hearing, oh, he was 13 seconds away from going to. Okay, cool. Does Buffalo forget that you have to play defense at some point? I don't understand why that drum is still being beaten, and I just don't get why you pay all that money to somebody who has proven that without Stephon Diggs, he's not, and without Brian Daboll, he's not the same quarterback. So Josh Allen absolutely has to be up there. Dak Prescott, I mean, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. You guys have already said this a lot. I actually happen to love Dak Prescott as a person. He seems like a really good guy. But this was peak Jerry Jones, thinking that he's the smartest guy in the room over the last 30 years, dating back to when he went on that ego trip over Jimmy Johnson, one of the greatest coaches of all time. I don't know what they think that they have in him, but it's showing by their lack of playoff wins. You guys mentioned this a little while ago. Justin Herbert, I keep hearing that this guy is supposed to be the greatest, quarterback talent, pure quarterback talent in the NFL. And yet I keep hearing, oh, he didn't have the coach. He didn't have this. He didn't have that. I just watched Joe Burrow with an atrocious offensive line get to the Super Bowl and damn near win it. I watched, in the last couple of years, I've watched guys like Jalen Hurts and other guys, go in and overcome, one thing or another, whether it's coaching, injuries, or whatever. I'm tired of, if Justin Herbert's this fantastic and this once in a lifetime as a quarterback, he should be able to overcome something. And, I've watched Brandon Staley. It's not like Brandon Staley is the worst coach in the NFL. He's definitely not top tier, but he's good. He's decent enough that he shouldn't be holding back someone who's supposedly that good. Pardon me. Another one that I think was brought up earlier, but I'm going to bring up again, Kyler Murray. I love running quarterbacks. Dual threat quarterbacks, but the amount of times that I've watched him just refuse to run, it's Paula. It's like that sign from that Seinfeld episode. I choose not to run.
Right.
I don't understand what his. If you have a unique talent or a unique ability, you lean into it as a quarterback. So I don't really understand the thought process there. And Arizona is now a dumpster fire, and I wouldn't be surprised if Kyler Murray never plays another game for the Cardinals again. And aside, and I think that aside from those guys, the only other guy I can go back to is Russell Wilson. And someone brought up Deshaun Watson. I think it's hard to call him overrated when he didn't play for so long. But Russell Wilson, I'm sorry, I hope that he does well. I really like Russell Wilson. I'm a big fan of his. I hope that this coach, Coach Payton is, the guy to get him back on track. But he's getting a bit of the Aaron Rodgers quality now where we're like, oh, he's a Super Bowl winner. He's a Super Bowl winner from the same guys who tell me that it's what have you done for me lately? These people will cut bait with somebody who hasn't won a championship in the last 90 minutes. And yet they think that these guys are all that in a bag of chips because they have a ring from when I was in middle school. I don't see. I think that there's a little bit of a need to show us you're still who you are from both of those guys, from Rodgers and Russell Wilson. You still need to show me that you are who you are. Otherwise, I don't care about what you did 10 years ago. I care about what you're going to do for the next 5 years.
Nice, Ryan. Kenny, round
Yeah,
us off.
real quick. I'll go Kyler Murray, number 5. Like Paul said, overrated. Hasn't done anything in Arizona. He's my number 5. Justin Herbert. You can't be the number 1 paid quarterback in the NFL and have 0 playoff wins, like Jody said in an interview. He was his number 1. Number 3, I'm going Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins has had a lot of bad games on primetime TV. And last year against the Giants in the playoffs, stunk it up. Daniel Jones is not in my top 5, Kurt. He has a playoff win, so he is not in there. And Daniel Jones is big reason why the Giants got where they were last year. So, in my opinion, he's not overrated. We'll see that. Russell Wilson didn't make my list, Kurt. He's on the outside looking in. He could be number 1 if he gets off to a bad start this year, but he's on the outside looking in right now. He has playoff wins and Super Bowl wins, so I'm not putting him there. Justin Fields, number 2. I'm with Kurt, the one that I do agree with him on. I think he's overrated. The Ohio State quarterbacks have never panned out to be good quarterbacks in the NFL. Hey, that trend can change. C.J. Stroud's in the NFL now. We'll see if Justin Fields with weapons turns out to prove me wrong, but I think he's more of a runner, like Kurt said, than a passer. And number 1, like everybody else said, Dak Prescott. If Dak was in Jacksonville or Houston, Dak wouldn't even probably be on the list. But because he plays in Dallas, America's team, he's hyped up to something he's not. And I don't think he's a great quarterback. Average quarterback, yes. Great, no. And that's easily my number 1 on this list is Dak Prescott, Carson.
Nice. Love it, guys. So, yeah, that was my would you guys call it Carson's Corner?
Carson's Corner.
Carson's Corner.
We do that every week. I like it. So, yeah, that was my 3 topics. Great job, guys. And, yeah, if you guys want to move on, let's do it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Carson, we got you to 9 o'clock tonight. We're going to end at 9 o'clock. Just want to make sure you don't have to go before that.
Yeah, you're good. Sounds good.
Okay, so we got about 10 minutes left, guys. Going to do these quick. What I'm going to do, so we get to all of them, I'm going to ask 2 of you. I'll ask 2 of you, and then 2 of you will get a different one. So, for example, the first one I'm going to go to Kurt, and I'll go to Carson because he's impartial. This segment's called Who's Under More Pressure, Kurt? Is it going to be your boy Russell Wilson, who we've just been talking about, as a possible overrated quarterback, or the highly rated coach, Sean Payton, Kurt, who's under more pressure for the Broncos this year?
1,000%. It's Russell Wilson. He had a bad season last year. Again, we know why. The other guy, Sean Payton, just said it. Worst coaching job probably in NFL history with Nathaniel Hackett. But he's got to prove it this year. Listen, Sean Payton's there to stay. This is Sean Payton's team. Just like Jody said, you didn't hear Let's Ride. This is Payton's team. There's no more Let's Ride. And you know what? There might not be no more Russell Wilson if he doesn't perform this year. And that's how it should be. If you don't perform, move on from you. So I'm going to say 1,000% Russell Wilson because you know what? If Sean Payton says he can't do it anymore, it's Sean Payton. It's not Nathaniel Hackett. It's Sean Payton. But the answer is Russell Wilson.
And I'll give this one to Carson as well.
Yeah, I agree with Kurt. Again, you have no excuse now. I mean, Sean Payton, arguably one of the greatest coaches ever, and you got him now. Russell, go out and do it. Point blank. You got all the talent around you, and you got to go out and prove it. I know it's the AFC, but still, you can't have the similar season you did last year. You have to at least be above 500, if not better. Fight for a wild card spot minimum. I think definitely Russell Wilson.
To answer Jody's question, what makes you America's team? I think it's just a stupid nickname they gave the Cowboys years ago. I believe the Patriots would be America's team just by their team name, but that's just me. Eddie Murphy saying after those comments, Broncos got to blow out the Jets.
Kenny, I disagree. I think it's the New York Giants. They have red, white, and blue in their uniform.
Yeah,
That's America's team.
Fair enough. Next one on the list, I'll go to Paul and I'll go to Ryan. Our next one's who's under more pressure, Paul? Is it going to be Daniel Jones with the Giants or Aaron Rodgers with the Jets?
I'm going to say, actually, it's going to be Daniel Jones. But that being said, last year, he was under tremendous pressure. He was playing for his life, his contract, his football career, and came through in flying colors, his best season, still with no receivers, bad offensive line. And not only did he have his best year, he came through, won a playoff game. Rodgers, even though he's coming to the Jets now, first year, he still has the pedigree. He can do poorly. Yeah, he'll hear it. Of course, it's New York, but he'll get a 1-year waiver for the following year. So, in my opinion, it's going to be Daniel Jones. The pressure's on him this year to justify this contract that he received.
Scoops, who do you think's under more pressure? Is it Aaron Rodgers and the Jets or Jones with the Giants?
Definitely Daniel Jones, in my opinion. First of all, I absolutely love that Aaron Rodgers basically said, "I'm gonna, give back." I think it was $25 million to play for the Jets. I also can't believe I actually lived to see a quarterback do that, but I think that there's something to be said for that. But Daniel Jones, as much as he just got a new big contract, the Jets can get out, the Giants can get out of it after next year. If they try and do it before next year, they'll get a bad cap hit for next season. But after next season, the only dead cap they have is $27 million over 2 subsequent years. So he's easier to get out of the contract with. He's shown less. I think that Daniel Jones is under infinitely more and I'm not even trying to make a joke here. The Jets, he could literally win 2 playoff games, and he's the greatest Jets quarterback since Joe Namath. I think that the standards for that he's walking into are just lower as well. So yeah, I think it's easily for me. It's Daniel Jones, and I am a Daniel Jones fan as a quarterback.
Awesome. Next one I'm going to give to Kurt and Scoops, and then I'm going to do one. We're just going to go quick rapid fire with the final ones because we only got about 5 minutes left. Kurt, who's under more pressure, Aaron Boone or Brian Cashman?
Oh, Brian Cashman. I mean, since he took over again, they gave him a Ferrari and he absolutely destroyed it. And Boone is just an extension of him. Boone doesn't, man. Boone's a puppet. Boone does with the people with the fake numbers and all that fake stuff up there. It's Brian Cashman. Again, he's collected $200 million of garbage. So it's Brian Cashman.
Scoops, who's under more pressure?
I'm going to agree and disagree at the same time. It should be Brian Cashman, but I think it's going to be Aaron Boone because I think Aaron Boone is going to be the scapegoat. Yeah, for this season, even though I don't think he's deserving of that at all. I think that, at the end of this season, they're going to go back to Cashman's going to go back to whatever that statement was that still haunts me to this day, where he basically said, Boone can do what he wants, but if it doesn't work out, he's going to have to answer to it, which to me just tells me that, the front office is going to take the credit when stuff goes well, and they're going to lay it on Boone when it doesn't. So it absolutely should be Brian Cashman who's under more, who's on the hot seat more. But in terms of who it actually is, it's definitely Aaron Boone.
Nice. Quick question. I'm going to give this one to Carson from Eddie Murphy. Carson, if the Jets miss the playoffs, is Robert Saleh fired?
If they barely miss the playoffs, no. If they put on a total crap show, yeah.
Fair enough. Carson, you got the next one. I'm sorry, Scoops has got the next one by himself. So I'm going to do this one by one because we got 5 minutes left. So we're going to do this like 30 seconds or less if we can, guys, please. 49ers or Eagles to win the NFC. Who's under more pressure to win the NFC there, Coach Scoops?
Who's under more pressure? I think is definitely San Francisco. We've been hearing that Shanahan is, this generation's Bill Walsh. San Francisco. Where's your ring? Where's your ring? Philadelphia had won the NFC last year, and I'm not going to go into the Super Bowl stupid call with Bradbury, but for years now we keep hearing San Francisco is supposed to be this offensive juggernaut, and I haven't seen them get one ring out of it. And yes, Philly hasn't won a ring either, but their regime's been in place with these guys a lot less time, and they've got the same number of championship wins. Yeah, I think it's easily San Francisco. And also, who's San Francisco going to be starting in the playoffs at quarterback? Is it going to be Purdy? Is it going to be is Sam Darnold? Really? No.
Fair enough. Carson, you got the next one. 30 seconds or less. Are the Lions under more pressure to win the NFC North, or are the Vikings under more pressure to win?
Lions for sure. They got all the tools. They added like crazy in the offseason on both sides of the ball. They did a great job in the draft. There's no excuses. You have to win the NFC North this year. Lions for sure.
Kurt, I'm going to give you an American League West post-trade line. Who's under more pressure to win, to get into the playoffs, Kurt? Rangers or the Angels?
I'm going to say Angels, just because the fact that Ohtani, the best player in baseball, having him might depend on it. So I'm going to say the Angels.
Paul, there's the, sorry, I went out of line there. Paul, let me find it. Who's under more pressure, Paul, to win the World Series? The Braves or the Dodgers?
I think definitely the Braves, after getting eliminated last year, winning the East, and now probably going almost coast to coast in the National League East. If they don't get to the World Series and win it, that's got to be a total failure. So they've got to make the World Series, and not just make it. As Kurt always says, you're there, you better win it.
Real quick, guys, rapid fire, one-word answer. Who's under more pressure in New York? Aaron Judge, Pete Alonso, Paul?
Aaron Judge.
Kurt?
Judge.
Ryan?
Alonso.
Carson?
Alonso. Judge has already proved it.
Okay, and then real quick, we got to do these rapid fire because we're running out of time. I got one more. Mike McCarthy or Dak Prescott, Kurt?
Well, I mean, to me, Dak Prescott. I mean, the guy. How many coaches are you going to get him fired? Dak Prescott.
Okay, and then here's my fun one. I'm not going to ask everybody this one. Okay, so we all know Kurt's going on vacation to Hawaii in 2 weeks. It's well overdue. Him and Jen's finally getting to go on their honeymoon to Hawaii, for those who don't know. Who's under more pressure? Kurt to find a Hawaiian shirt by August 13th for his luau, or Jen to find places for Kurt to eat in Hawaii, Paul?
Are you asking me?
More pressure, Kurt. Is it Kurt or Jen under more pressure?
Oh, definitely Jen. Definitely.
Ryan, who's under more pressure?
Jenny, because we learned this weekend apparently Kurt doesn't eat a damn thing.
Carson.
I'm going to say Kurt's under more pressure. I think Jen's got everything taken care of.
I'm going to say Jen, because the flight alone, 11 hours to get there, is going to be hell enough. So she's going to be under pressure in those 11 hours to find places for him to eat when he gets off the plane. First thing when he gets off the plane, he's going to want to find something he wants to eat. And that's going to be a lot of pressure for her to find something near the airport. So I'm going to go Jen. I had to cut that short, guys, but great job. I think it's time for final thoughts, Kurt, because we got to get rolling for a Mets show that's coming up. Yep. I see Ryan Conway's in the backstage already. So appreciate you all. And sorry we got to cut this short, guys, but great show tonight. Kurt, take over.
I'll just start with my final thoughts. I heard a couple people, and I'm going to defend my boy Jody right here because he put it in the comments. $40 million. Russell Wilson had a terrible year last year, but Daniel Jones' stats. And this is where Russ playing less game. One less game.
Oh my God.
3,200 yards, 15 touchdowns, 15, 5 interceptions. Russell Wilson, 3,500 yards, so 300 more yards, 16 touchdowns, more interceptions. But we're applauding 3,200 yards, 15 and 5. That gets people benched. I don't know what you guys are watching, what you guys are hoping for, but you ain't getting a $40 million quarterback. That's my final statement. And you guys are going to be doing a lot of booing over the next 3 years.
All right. Okay.
Mr. Rosen, you're next.
All right. I'm glad I'm next. Kurt, I'm going to make, first of all, great show, guys. Excellent show. I'm going to make you a bet on the air that the Giants will get to the Super Bowl with Daniel Jones faster than the Broncos will get to the Super Bowl with Russell Wilson.
You're not
Come
getting
on.
to a Super Bowl with Daniel Jones.
You're not getting to the Super Bowl with Russell
I
Wilson.
might
NFC's wide
not.
open.
And-
Kurt. NFC's wide open. Paul's onto something.
I'm telling you, the Giants will get to a Super Bowl with Daniel Jones before the Broncos. Just look at the AFC. Anyway, just wanted to say that. Great show, guys.
Scoops.
Kurt, yeah, usually that touchdown ratio is how it works when you've got your elite running back, unlike the Broncos, who saw Javonte Williams for about 4 games last year. So, yeah, it kind of works out a little bit differently when you actually have the right players on your roster. That's all I got.
Mr. Scheer.
Great show tonight, guys. As always, love talking about sports with you all, and hopefully you guys all have a good weekend, and looking forward to the Hall of Fame game tomorrow, and very close to college football and NFL season. Let's go.
And last but not least, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Well, first and foremost, let's thank everybody in the audience. We had some new people out there listening. I believe a couple questions earlier. They said they were going to listen to the Mets show. We appreciate you all each week. Keith, Jody, just to name a few, Eddie. Thanks for always being part of our show. We feel like you're, not only asking us questions, but you are part of our show. My final thought of the night is going to be a rebuttal towards Kurt. You're going to come after Daniel Jones, 15 touchdowns, and Russell Wilson had 16, but you had 2 arguably all-pro wide receivers on your staff, on your offense too.
I'm just saying it's a terrible season.
Giants
but he
had
still
no wide
outperformed
receivers.
Daniel Jones.
Giants had no wide receivers, and let's see. But hey, I'm going to do my talking when the season starts, and
Yes,
it may be
sir.
good talk, it may be bad talk. We'll see. But that's my final thoughts, guys. Great show. We'll see everybody next week, and everybody have a good week.